Good morning, everybody. Sunday Q&A. Slightly later than usual due to the fact that Molly's boyfriend Dave was his birthday yesterday, so he had a bit of a do. And I went to bed a little bit late. So I got up a little bit late, but I'm feeling fine. That's cool. So, yeah, so what we got? What we're going to do today? Gary John Baker. Has the MOT as a van? I hope the van passed its MOT. Yes, it did. And I was actually quite relieved when the van passed its MOT because it wasn't that dear. But it did have some advisories, which I did yesterday. Yeah, shocks on a Mercedes ain't cheap, are they? Oh, God, 400 quid later. Still, it's done now. We got the advisories done. We got the MOT done. It's probably about 6.5 to put it through. I've had worse news, and hey, you're going to use it all the time. You don't want to break it down, and you've got to look after it. So there you go. So Jessica is back up to speed again. She drives a lot nicer with the new shocks. £400 later, she drives a lot nicer with the new shocks. But there you go. There's some other bits and pieces in there as well. What we got there? Yeah, other question about when you should have your van serviced. Now, I said ideally about every 10,000 miles, and we talked about the oil and stuff like that. Doozer said. He made a good point, actually. He said, the oil in your van, if you're going around town, 10,000 miles. If you're doing motorways, 30,000 miles. He said it has something to do with the flow and all that kind of stuff. The long and short of it is, you've got to weigh it up yourself. If you're doing a lot of motorway runs, you won't need to get it done quite so often as you will around town. And I think that's also true with wear and tear on other parts because you're not doing your clutch, you're not doing your brakes. But although Gary John Baker does say, he says 10 to 14,000 miles is good because the service is going to flag up wear and tear on other components. And what you don't want is to go for too long and then the mechanic takes the wheel off and go, why didn't you bring this into me sooner? If you'd have brought me into this sooner, I just have to change the rubber bits. Now I've got to change the rubber bits and the metally bits and spring bits. You can tell I know an awful lot about mechanics. So sometimes it's kind of one of those stitching time saves 9. It's kind of I think it's a bit of a nose, but I think it's in your benefit to do little and often. I say little, I mean every 10,000 miles, you should still, you're probably doing it every 2 months, which is, in fairness, if you're driving HGV, or if you've got like a 7.5 tonner, you've got to have inspection every 8 weeks anyway. So it's not unreasonable. It just seems to come around ever so fast, like that's the only thing. Width restrictions. Damien W. Oh, and by the way, Gary, if you do want to join us, you know where we are. If you ever get past the wife. Damien W says width restriction. Now I keep hearing about these TomToms. A lot of people are saying about these TomToms, and I'm semi-tempted to have a go. I love Waze. It works really, really well for me. But one thing that Waze doesn't do is the width restriction thing and the bridge restriction thing. And what I tend to do, and you suddenly go and you go, oh, there's a bridge. I can't get through that. So you go, but it goes, and tries to send you back that way, and then you go another way, and another way, and another way. I am semi-tempted to have a go because it would be nice to be able to fit in the size of my van. So don't send me through anything 7 foot. Okay, well, it might take me 5-10 minutes on the odd journey here and there. But if I do have a go at it, I'll do a video and I'll let you know what it's like. But yeah, I'm considering it, guys. I'm still smart enough to pay for them shocks. I'll try not to mention that again. What's his name? Oh, and also Damien W. He's got his brother-in-law starting in a Luton in the next month or so. How does he set up payment? Right, this is all to do with the CX. There's 3 different subscriptions. There's the owner driver, and then you've got Enterprise, and then you've got Enterprise Plus. You should get Enterprise. When you get Enterprise, the whole thing changes slightly, and I will try and do some videos on it. The only difficulty I've got is like if I try and show you, you don't get the owner driver app anymore. You get the small fleet app. But for me to show you the small fleet, I've got to show you who all my drivers are, and it's kind of gets a bit complicated, but I will work a way around it. I've got to do a small fleet for you anyway, as part of the growing business that we're working on at the moment. And can you call me? Yeah, of course you can call me. I've left the number in the notes. Just call me. It's fine. I'm more than happy to talk to you about it. That's what I do. Andrew Morrison, did you get the costings on the mortar job? Yes. I met the guy. I had to go and meet him in Potter's Bar in, the Costa or Starbucks or what is in the corner, and we were talking about real nice guy, old ex-market trader like me, used to do the pitching on Wembley, and then he said he went over to Malta. He said, I made the fatal mistake. One of my friends said, come over. He said, I'll pay your flight, I'll pay your accommodation, come over. And he said, I went over, and he said, I fell in love with the place. He said now he couldn't. He said I'd move out there, but he's as a result of being over there, and it started to be, can you get this over for me? Can you get this over for me? And then it just became a business. So I said about the idea of sending Lutons over there, and I said, mate, in the nicest possible way, I've costed it, and I reckon it's going to be five grand, and even then, I don't think I'm going to make any money. He went, yeah, you won't. He said, I've done it. He said it was a nightmare. He said you drive through Calais, to Calais, then you go all the way through Europe to, I think he said Genoa, I think he said, and then he said you get a ferry, but this ferry goes on for like 40 hours or something. Bear in mind that there's going to be mistakes in it. We were chatting, and he said they give you a cabin. He said, but the cabin was really tiny, and he said I get claustrophobic. He said so we tried it another way. We went to the bottom of Italy, and then we got the ferry to like from Italy to Sicily, and then Sicily to Malta. I can't remember if it was Italy to Sicily or Sicily to Malta. He said the ferry was €800. He said no, the way we do it is we pick the pallets up, take them down to his base, which is in Purfleet. He said then I put it on a 40-footer and send the 40-foot over that way, and I think to get the 40-footer over cost him £4 grand. So he's obviously sorted something out with freight and all that kind of stuff. But what we're hoping to do is to pick. I'm trying to do some jobs for him at the moment, and we'll be picking up the pallets, and we'll be doing, because when the 40-foot either goes from Purfleet or back to Purfleet, but he needs people to move these pallets from Purfleet around the country, and from around the country back to Purfleet. So once I get the hang of it, I'll let you know how it goes. But that's work in progress, that one. Yeah, Giles Rowe, as it said, Giles Rowe Bottom, he says, right, he says, I understand small van, he's in a small van. Small van, 100 miles, 65 pence, 65 quid. What if it's a return job? Or is that so it's 200 miles? Is that still 65 quid? No, what you would do on a return job, I tend to quote miles out and miles back. So say, for example, in the Luton, I might be quoting, I'm kind of keen, I tend to quote 110. I don't know if I'm a bit too cheap. But I think about 110, 120. So 100 miles, I would quote at 120 quid in my Luton. If it was a return job, like the regular one I normally get on a Monday, which hasn't turned up this Monday, but never mind, I'd quote the return at 80 pence, because there's no distance to pick up. So where you are, you're picking up, and there's no time involved. So, I mean, like the one I do on a Monday, I drive to Nuneaton, I switch it over, and then I drive back again. So the way I kind of look at it is 120 out and 80 pence back, or 65 or pound out, pound back. So on a small van job, what I would probably cost it, if it was going for 200 miles, 100 miles there, swap it over, 100 miles back, I'd probably quote it at 50p a mile. I'd probably quote that job on a small van at around about 100 quid. You're going to be on the job for, you ain't going to use hardly any diesel on that because it's small van. You can't cut 100 miles. You're going to be on the job for a little while, but that's why I don't drive small vans. That's why I like my Luton. But then a lot of people out there do, and it's horses for courses. You're your own boss. You do what you want to do. What we got here? Steve Veg, should he be VAT registered? Yes, there's a video on it. Scroll down, I'll try not to repeat myself, and it's probably more in depth, but yeah, definitely be VAT registered, otherwise you're just throwing away 20% of your money, which is ludicrous. It's just keen enough on the exchange without having, not getting tyres and fuel, but there's a video on it. And Nicholas and Colby Montana, there's one on insurance. I recommend Business Choice Direct. They're the people that are supported by the Courier Exchange for no other reason than the fact that they're the only people that I can talk to. There is a video on this as well, but like I've said on the video, I've actually spoken to them. If you mention my name, they should give you a discount. And if you mention the Courier Exchange, they should give you a discount because they're working in conjunction with this. You won't get this anywhere else. So if you ring Churchill or if you ring Direct Line or something, they're not going to do it. But by all means, shop around. You might get a better deal somewhere else. My God, I'm in about 2 weeks' time, I'm going to be 50. So I'm going to be approaching Saga for insurance. It's great, isn't it? But no, I recommend Business Choice Direct. They seem to work well. And like I say, if you mention my name, and I'll get a kickback out of it, by the way. So I don't think I'm not doing this for anything other than personal reasons. I clearly am. But at the end of the day, I still think they're your best bet. Shop around. Mention my name, see how it goes. But, you choose. But they're the people that they're the ones we use. What we got? Ali Mohammed. Well, delivery notes. Where do you get delivery notes? I can send you a PDF, but to be honest with you, Ali, I don't even print my own ones anymore. I don't print those damn things, never work. What I tend to do is go on Amazon, and there is one. It's called Ocean something or other. And it's the cheapest one on there. It's about $6.95, and they'll post it to your door the very next day, and it has 100 delivery notes in it. and it's professional, and they're all signed up, and they're all blank, and they're all easy. So there's a couple on there, but I think the Ocean one for about £6.95 is the best. Bear in mind it works out at like 7p, and I know it's going to cost you that to print them. So yeah, so that's what I do on the delivery notes, my friend. Amazon. Support your local Amazon drivers. Bless them, they need the money. Simon Sheard, Stoke on the CX. What's it like? There are better areas, there are worse areas. What you've got to bear in mind, Simon, though, is the fact you won't always be in Stoke. You'll probably pick your first job up in the morning from around Stoke, and then you'll go somewhere else. So if you get Stoke to Milton Keynes, there's a very good chance you'll get a job out of Milton Keynes. If you get Stoke to Penzance, there isn't. So you pick where you go with them. I know you said you'd try with another couple of companies. I'd still recommend the CX. Because I know people that you don't have to use it all the time. If they send you out there, if your company sends you out somewhere, and then you go on the CX and get a job coming back, it saves you going back with empty miles, and you've only got to do one job a week to justify it. So I recommend it because I think that's the best thing it's for, is getting return jobs and return miles. But you try it by all means, my friend. In fairness, if you want, give us a bell. My number is 07970 723 884. If anybody wants to call me, call me. I'll gladly talk to you if I've got time. If I haven't, I'll get back to you as soon as I can. It's kind of getting a bit busy, but I'm more than happy to talk to anybody. I just want everyone to be happy. Mark Kenny. Wow, this is a good question, this. Right, what happens if you turn up in... You turn up... Say, for example, like I've done it before. I'm driving to Luton and I turn up... I pick a small van job up because it's local and because it's heading home, and you turn up, it's not a small van job. Mark, such a good question. I've done a video on this. I've done it yesterday when I was at the mechanics getting the shocks done. I'll post it tomorrow or Tuesday. It's too good to anyway, so I haven't forgotten you, mate. There's one coming for you there. Yes, and finally the repair job. Yeah, well, if I'm no good at this stuff. I'd sort of, but I had a quick go. There was a guy at the yard who said he would do a professional repair for £300. Like I was saying, he's a nice guy and it would look pristine. Instead, we got some fiberglass. I got a strip. We masticked it on yesterday. It's nothing that a blind man on a galloping horse wouldn't notice, but it's okay. It does nose me a bit. I look at it and I go, oh, but then again, maybe it's my own daft fault for not going and get one of them TomTom 250s with the width restrictions. Maybe, you see, if I had done that, I'd want to bash the van up. Yes, Jason Burke, the paint is dripping. And the last word goes to RK's granddad. Bearing in mind my poor old damaged van and the width restriction. And he said, if you go into battle and you come out with no scars, you weren't trying. So, thanks, RK. Okay, guys, that's it. I'm going to go and enjoy the rest of my Sunday, what's left with it. I've got another one ready to go up tomorrow. Hope you're all out. Hope you're doing the thing. And take care, take money.